Hi, I'm Ron Knaflic with Edwards Instrument Company, and today I'm going to show you how to install a bullet brace on an Edwards trombone. So when you receive your bullet brace, you'll receive a set of instructions, bullet brace with the arm actually installed, and the small parts kit that comes with it. In the kit, you should find a Allen wrench, which is a 3/32. If you lose it, an American 3/32 size. There's a spare screw, as well as your bullet brace foam. I'm going to set the spare screw aside, as well as the foam. Tools that you'll need for the job are, well, the Allen wrench that's provided, some type of cutting device, either be a razor blade. Please be very, very careful. A hard cutting surface like a cutting board, or you can use a pair of common house scissors. We find the razor blade on a hole gets you a touch better cut when you're cutting the foam to your application. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to remove the arm out of the bullet, and we're going to set that aside. If you receive this for a Bach trombone or our BB 2002, you'll see that this arm, the S arm, is installed. This application fits a lot of trombones. We've just provided this the C arm for the Edwards to minimize the amount of rod that needs to be used for the application. So once I have removed that, I'm going to take my Allen wrench, and I'm going to first remove both screws from the top of the brace. Set one aside, the other one. If you notice that every time I'm using the Allen wrench today, the orientation for the most part is going to always be in this fashion. You can see this fashion here allows me to have the shorter end in my hand, and this reduces the amount of torque that you can apply to the screws. It's a very minimal amount of torque necessary to hold the bullet brace in place if installed properly. Setting the other screw aside, then I'm going to grab my trombone, and we find the optimal location for the bullet itself is one that is close to the saddle, like so. So before I install it, I'm going to just using my finger tight, I'm going to just insert the screws and get them started. Be very careful at this point because you will be scratching the lacquer if you're not careful. Once I have it securely in place, I'm then going to take my Allen wrench, and we're going to orientate the bullet so that approximately, if you were to hold the trombone vertically, you will notice that it's pointed up towards the sky. If you're holding it on your shoulder, it's pointing directly towards the ceiling. You've probably seen in pictures past where we've had a bullet brace orientated in this fashion. We found over time that puts too much torque on the bullet brace and causes it to slip. This we find to be the most optimal position for putting the least amount of torque on the brace, as well as the ergonomics of the hand brace that we've created. So once we have it in that orientation, I'm then going to evenly tension both sides of the bullet. Now if you have a Bach trombone or any other make that has a larger cross brace than Edwards, you'll probably be noticing at this point that this piece here has a considerable amount of space between it and the bullet. That's perfectly acceptable. The design of the bullet brace is that it fits practically every cross brace on the market on every brand of trombone. Of course, from a design standpoint, we've optimized it to look the cleanest on an Edwards. So I'm going to keep alternating so that we have even tension on both sides of the brace. This is really important, not only for the slipping, but for the fact we want to avoid crushing this cross brace, because on most trombones this is a hollow piece of material. Once we have that located and snug, you should not be able to move it with your hands, so a light amount of pressure. I'm then going to grab my C brace, or if I was on another trombone I'd be using the S brace, and we're going to carefully insert it through. And at this point you may want to take your hand, place it through, and get an approximate idea of where you'd like to see that brace happen. We find that Most folks like to have the actual trigger itself on the pad of the thumb or to the tip. The further up you make it on the thumb, the longer the throw is actually going to feel. So we want to optimize that, as well as put the majority of the weight of the trombone on the crook of the hand. And that's really the benefit of the bullet brace, is that the weight is going to be transferred here, which then transfers to the large muscles of the arm, thus taking out the fatigue in the arm and making it easier to hold the trombone for longer periods of time. So once we have a general idea where we would like to locate the brace, I'm then going to tighten the nose until it's just nice and snug. Now you notice once again I'm only using the long portion of the Allen wrench in the bullet, and the short portion of the Allen wrench is going to be in my hand, and that once again reduces the amount of torque and reduces your chances of stripping out the bullet brace. So once we have in that location, that feels real nice. What I would do is put the bell section onto your slide, play for a bit, make sure you really are comfortable with that location. Once that's been done, then we're going to take our foam. You're going to decide how much you'd like to cover with the bullet brace. Some people like to cover just the black Delrin plastic. I've seen some folks also cover the entire bullet brace itself. It's completely your discretion. Just kind of measure it up, get in a good idea. Then carefully we're going to cut the foam like so. Please be very, very careful at this point. We want all your fingers, although you don't need many fingers to play trombone, we'd like to see them all stay intact. And then simply take the foam, slide it over in place, and now you got one of the most comfortable places to put your hand on a trombone.